What does it mean to be a Korean conservative?
Korean conservatism has some kind of limitation, having only two the pillars of,
Why are these young Korean men so conservative?
because they hate.
We all do.
Almost 80% of Korean people oppose the mass immigration.
Wow, 80%. Is there anything you want to tell people in America and people of the world? What is your message to the world? Hey, what's going on, everyone? We are in Seoul, South Korea. South Korea, of course, known for its exquisite cuisine, for its K-pop, its Korean dramas, so many great things, but also a lot of political contention. The lowest birth rate in the world, the highest percentage of young men who are conservative, a lot of political unrest. So today we are here with the largest and most influential conservative voice in South Korea, GroundC. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you, Kangmin. Thank you for having me. Good to be
Awesome.
here. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's just start off with, how did you get into content creation and talking about conservatism? Because the reality is, I've found that most Koreans are apolitical. They don't like talking about politics. Even this past week, I was in Busan and I was trying to talk to people and ask them questions about their thoughts on politics, and they all rejected me. I think I talked to 100 people and none of them wanted to talk to me.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through what got you into talking about politics?
First of all, I want to state that I was inspired very much by Abraham Lincoln and Ronald Reagan and American heroes. And what inspired me is all the principle of American Republic and the lessons from American Constitution and Charlie Kirk also. And secondly, the first president of the South Korea inspired me a lot. So he himself studied in the United States for like half a century. The principle and very foundation of Korean Constitution and the Republic and the foundation was followed by the principle of American Constitution and Republic. So standing on that principle, I started my business in this area, and also the President Trump taught me a lot about how we fight against the radical lefts and all the things. Yes.
Yeah, I think Trump has awakened not only people in America, but all over the world.
Yes.
That his new political philosophy of putting your country first, to love your country, because I think right now in the first world it's very popular to hate your country, especially in America. It was starting to be fashionable to say America is a racist, terrible place, slavery, all these bad things. America is awful. The foundations were awful. But Trump was reclaiming this idea: make America great again.
Yes.
Love your country.
Yes.
It's okay to put your country first. And I think that had a lot of political ramifications in Korea too. Speaking of Trump, what is the general consensus among Koreans? Do they broadly like Trump? Do they not like Trump? Are they split half and half?
In 2016, before he got elected as a president of the United States, almost every Korean see him as a crazy guy or just one of entrepreneurs. But as he developed his policies in his country and his remarkable policies like building wall to the southern border and the stopping illegal aliens from the many countries, and his policies like make America great again, developing a workforce in many states in the United States, and also his policy for his main supporters, the middle class people in the United States, and that kind of stuff taught me a lot about him. And of course, he has many controversy issues before he got elected as a president. But his policies like rebalancing global order for American interests, like Middle East policy. And so seeing his policies that make America first and great again touched me and other Korean people in like 2017 and 2018. That is the major change compared to beginning of his political career. And in 2020, as you know, there was very controversial election in the U.S. election, and like American people and Donald Trump, Mr. Trump have gone through the situation. We Korean have gone through almost the same problem in regards to election in 2020 in here. That's a general election, but we saw how President Trump reacted to the problem, election fraud. Almost every officials and almost every congressman in Korea and U.S. don't have enough courage to fight back those frauds. But President Trump was different. He bravely reacted to and he bravely fought back to fix the problem. So from that moment, President Trump has been kind of heroic figure to U.S. and Americans and Korean people.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I think because even for me, as I am an American citizen and I've grown up in America, Trump, I have obviously he's not perfect. And I have things that I disagree with him sometimes, but ultimately the fact that he embodies something so important, not only for America, for the whole world, strength, courage, really leading his country and not caring really what people say, what the media says. And I think that's one thing that Trump did so well. He attacked the media.
Yes.
The media that's corrupt. They lie, they slander. And even right now, with so many things going on in America, I'm sure you saw the ICE riots in Minnesota and everything's America's so crazy right now. And the mainstream media keeps lying and lying and lying. But Trump did one thing that was so masterful. He went after the media and he said, "You guys are fake news, fake news media." And so I kind of want to talk about that in terms of the media landscape in Korea.
Yeah.
Are there any conservative media outlets that are mainstream or are on television? Because right now in America, the only actual mainstream media outlet that's slightly right-wing is Fox News.
Yeah.
And then everything else is super hard left. What is it like in Korea?
During his first term, almost every Korean the legacy media or mainstream media disliked him. But his second term began 1 year ago, and I found that a little bit change happened in the media landscape
Okay.
because he restored America's economy, and he successfully rebalanced the Middle East, the crisis, and also Maduro, Nicolas Maduro. He is, as everybody knows, he is a criminal.
Yeah.
And he made huge election fraud system and software, and he exported it to U.S. and other countries. And Korean people know about this. So as he has changed U.S. Politics and world politics, some of medias has realized that some very important change has happened by President Trump. So I see a little bit of change of media's tone after he began his second term.
Wow. Is there any media outlet that's conservative, or are they still all like left wing? Because from what I can see, every time I turn on the news channel, it's always talking about how it's just very like has a liberal bent. At least from what I saw, I was in my hotel the other day and I turned on Arirang, which is the international channel, and they were pushing transvesticism, like these gender fluid K-pop idols. And I was like, why is this being pushed in Korea? And so I'm wondering, like, are all media outlets like that? Like super like, yes, we love the transgenders, we love the gays, or is it more nuanced?
I can say that half and half. And 50% of mainstream media in Korea has a conservative view.
Oh wow, okay.
But important thing is that they do not thoroughly follow American conservatives' view. Like even if some media argues that that company is a conservative company, but that doesn't follow thoroughly conservative norms. Like, okay, we support free market, and we support anti-communism, but we support LGBTQ. Why not? That is the pro-choice. That is kind of a mixture of views.
Yeah.
So I think that is really similar situation with American the media, the landscape, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Even on Fox News, and I have friends who work in Fox News, so I'm not trying to like throw them under the bus, but yeah, they hate the wokeness, they hate communism, but a lot of them are pro-choice. A lot of them are pro, hey, like gay people can do whatever they want, things like that. And as not only a conservative myself, but a Christian, I'm saying, okay, but these things are really important to me, like the right to life, not killing babies in the womb, marriage between one man and one woman. I mean, that's fundamental. If you break apart the family, then you break apart civilization. You can't have civilization. So on that note, actually, I'm curious because American conservatism is not the same as Korean conservatism. And conservatism, liberalism, all these things are meaningless aside from their context. And so I'm wondering, what does it mean to be a Korean conservative?
From 1970s to 2000s, Korean conservatism means that by Korean scholars fighting back against communism, that is one of conservatism, and supporting free market, that is the second part of Korean conservatism. But I think Korean conservatism has some kind of limitation, having only two the pillars of conservatism.
So it's the free market and
anti-communism is a
anti-communism.
major factors of Korean conservatism from 1980s to 2000s. I can understand that because the Korea as a nation was very vulnerable to collapse because of the North Korea's that threatening after the Korean War. So anti-communism was very important factor of Korean conservatism. I understand that, but including myself, including me, and especially younger generation in this country, at some point realized that supporting free market and supporting anti-communism are not enough to spread out our ideology. From 2010s, many Korean conservative scholars and researchers have found that many great books existed in the United States, and many they learned many things about American conservative scholars. So they translated those great books into Korea. They introduced those books to Korean audiences. So, like Lucy Kirk's great books, and William Berkeley, and those tremendous conservative figures were introduced to Korean conservatives. So from that moment, we studied them a lot, and to this point, we have been trying to learn many things from those American scholars. The Korean conservatism has been transforming to a new version of conservatism through the American conservatism right now.
So then, aside from anti-communism and the free market, like what are some other things that are becoming the conservative identity? I'm sure being pro-life is probably one.
Yes.
Patriotism, nationalism, loving your country, putting your country first is probably another. Are there any other ones that are kind of coming into the fold of what it means to be a conservative in Korea?
I want to add one more thing, traditional family value. That is a really important thing. Like in the United States, LGBTQ has been so big fashion in Korea. So we Korean conservatism have been fighting to defeat this LGBTQ. And one more thing, anti-CCP, Chinese Communist Party, anti-CCP movement has got more bigger and bigger in Korea right now.
Yeah.
especially among the younger generation.
I've seen this a lot with Korean discourse online regarding politics. They're very anti-CCP.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to talk about that because that ties into immigration into Korea, right? Because I'm sure most Korean conservatives are against mass immigration, right? And especially mass immigration from Chinese nationals. And for me, being in Korea, the amount of Chinese people I've seen is actually very concerning. And now I don't hate Chinese people. I don't hate any people. But it's so obvious because Korean people on the subway, they're quiet, they're kind of on their phone. And then Chinese people are just really loud and they're really just talking up an earful.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to be, it's just true. It's people say it's a stereotype. But even for me, when I was in Shanghai, I've taken the subway in Tokyo. I've taken the subway many times in Korea. Very quiet. You take the subway in Shanghai, it is so loud.
Really?
They're like talking on the phone like this on speakerphone. Blah, 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 and then they're talking to each other really loudly. And so what I'm seeing right now is actually a huge infiltration of Chinese nationals into Korea.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that Koreans aren't working those hard labor jobs, and so it's going to Chinese nationals. Even for me, when I landed in Incheon last week in the airport, I saw a group of 100 Malaysian men coming in to be then imported into the country as cheap labor. So what is the current pulse on immigration right now? So do most Koreans oppose, even if they're not conservative, do they oppose mass immigration? Or are they of the temperament that, okay, but if we don't mass import immigrants, our economy is going to go down? Well, what do Koreans think about immigration?
According to recent polls, almost 80% of Korean people oppose the mass immigration.
Wow, 80%.
Yes,
Wow.
because we believe that the Chinese espionage activity is really active. They steal our really high technologies like technology from SK Hynix and Samsung. And Samsung and SK Hynix has really tremendous skills in regards to semiconductor.
Right.
But Chinese espionage has been stealing our technologies, and they stole it to China, so that they developed their semiconductor and AI technology and to overcome America's technology levels. So that is our major concern. That is anti-communism in Korea and anti-CCP movement in Korea is not about the racism. It's about our sovereignty. So the major reason I oppose the mass immigration from China is that we oppose technology stealing. And the second thing is that they have Chinese, not every Chinese, but many Chinese have smuggled drugs and fentanyl from China to our mainland and Jeju Island. Jeju Island is at risk right now. So they smuggle the drug. It's same story with the United States. What is happening in the United States? So the second thing is we oppose mass drugs from China. And third part is that they manipulate and they manipulate Korean people's public opinion online, like making the comments using AI, blaming Korean people and the praising Xi Jinping. That you can easily see those comments from Chinese espionage or the spies. So to simply put, South Korea is in really big danger posed by CCP.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many cases in America too where there was a case with XAI, Elon Musk's company, where a Chinese national came and he just sold a bunch of the XAI code. There were some Chinese nationals who came to America and they were spreading like biohazards, and that would destroy like tons of crops and destroy the food chain in America. And then so allowing these Chinese espionages to come into Korea, it is a national security risk. And it's not because, again, we don't hate people, but it is a national security risk, and it does pose a threat to national sovereignty to Korea. So I think that is a really, really good point. On that note, actually, Koreans are largely opposed to mass immigration, and they're largely opposed to Chinese CCP influence in Korea. Is it the old and the young people who feel that way? Is it everyone who feels that way? Or is it specifically young people who feel that way? Because when I found that in Korea, there's like a huge generational gap between older folks and younger folks. For example, the older generation still very much hate Japan, at least from what I can see. They're not very fond of Japan, while the younger people, and I found a lot of Korean conservatives online, they're like, oh, no, I like Japan. They're a sovereign state. They're an ally, and so we should be partnering with them. And so I found that young people are largely pro-Japan. What's it like when it comes to Chinese sentiment versus old versus young?
Yeah, that's a really good question. 10 to 15 years ago, Korean people dislike Japan and also China at the same level. But time flew, and as time went by, our people has gone to dislike China more because those activities I just stated. Yeah, and of course, the younger people are more angry about Chinese espionage activities and drug trafficking and etc. And the reason why younger people are more actively raising their voice against the CCP's activities because they believe that China has been stealing our technology, but also the workforce and jobs. And a lot of Chinese workforce has been coming to Korea, seeking their jobs in Korea. So the younger people have been feeling kind of a threat because of that situation. And second thing is that, as you know, younger generation use online tools and SNS more than the older generation. So younger people can easily find those espionage activities from the CCP. That's intrigued younger people to the fight against the CCP's movement in Korea.
Yeah, and I think, what you've been doing, what a lot of right-wing conservative voices in Korea have been doing has been so huge to expose a lot of the evil and the corruption. And I think I saw on the news today that actually the South Korean police raided Coupang's headquarters.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And so let's talk about it, because from what I've seen is that there are tons of Chinese companies in Korea, or just even Chinese like CCP tentacles in Korean companies, where they hack our data, they take Korean data and they sell it, they take Korean IP, and I see so much of that, which is treacherous behavior. But with Coupang, which is largely, yes, it's an American company, but it's largely a Korean company, right? Where Americans aren't using Coupang, but it's like Koreans' Amazon. Why is the current administration going so hard against Coupang, but leaving Chinese companies alone?
That's really a good and huge question. Coupang, as you know, is an American enterprise, an American company. And the CEO of Coupang, current CEO of Coupang is American. His name is Harold Rogers. He's going to police office because he's now under police investigation. It's unbelievable. The reason why the crazy leftists in Korea and the radical left government are going after Coupang, and the main reason they want to hunt Coupang is that you have to know Alipay and Alibaba's presence in Korea. So Alipay, the subordinate organization under Alibaba, now Alipay has control over KakaoTalk and Kakao Pay.
Oh, they do?
Yes, yeah, they have they have huge amount of stock of those company.
Wow.
So Kakao Talk and Kakao Pay are under you can say Kakao Talk and Kakao Pay are under Alipay.
Yeah.
So if Alipay took over Coupang's infrastructure, what Coupang's has successfully made their infrastructure in Korea, Alipay is China's group, and Coupang's is American group. But Coupang's presence and Coupang's infrastructure, retail infrastructure is very huge and broad in Korea.
Right.
So that is the purpose of Alipay. And CCP's the purpose. Behind Lee Jae-myung's strategy, hunting down Coupang, there is Alipay. So that is a really important part. I want to say that. And the second part is that there is a 민주노총. 민주노총 is like the most biggest labor union in Korea, but they are not just labor union. They praise Kim Jong-un.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievably.
Wow.
They praise Kim Jong-un, and the core group of that group is the members of the core group 민주노총 are pro-North Korean. So what 민주노총 wants is that taking down Coupang, because Coupang doesn't want members from 민주노총. 민주노총 has made really clever decision not to embrace those pro-North Korean workforce from 민주노총. So behind Lee's decision to hunt down Coupang, there are 민주노총 and CCP's Alipay. So that is why Lee Jae-myung endlessly has tried to take down Coupang and investigate Coupang and raid Coupang. That is crazy because Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent and Jamie Greer, the director of USTR in US, and even Vice President J.D. Vance warned that South Korean government do not go over the red line, do not investigate Coupang, and do not mistreat Coupang. That is American company. That is the deal. One of the main promise written in U.S.-Korea joint fact sheet. That's the story.
Wow. Wow. So there's just a lot of political, monetary interests that have captured the current administration that makes them do what they're doing right now. And even just what they're doing, what the South Korean government is doing with Pastor Son Won-byo. I spoke at Seguro Church this past week, and I visited him actually in his jail cell yesterday in Busan. And the fact that they're going after him so hard, they come up with this interpretation of election law so that they can lock him up and then without bail hold him in jail for 5 months for simply interviewing conservative candidates and talking about Christian involvement in politics. It's so crazy to me. I mean, this is like, I thought this is South Korea. I thought this is where we have freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of conscience, largely speaking. And this nation belongs to God. And I truly believe that, where in Korea, there are more churches than there are convenience stores. And if anyone knows anything about convenience stores in Korea, there's a convenience store in every single block. But there are more churches. And that's how much God has blessed South Korea. And if people are turning away, and that is really, really sad to me. But yeah, I just feel like this administration is so aggressively anti-conservatism, anti-Christian, traditional Christian ethics. And it does concern me because, yes, I'm a Korean American, but I love this country and I love Korea. And this is the land of my ancestors. And to preserve true liberty and to preserve that which makes Korea so amazing in the first place, I think is really, really important. But then in order to do that, the next generation needs to rise up. So I actually want to ask you about this, where so many charts and graphs that people have seen about political beliefs in South Korea, especially between young men versus young women. Young women are largely liberal, but then the young men in Korea are so conservative. I want to ask you, why are young men in Korea, the Gen Z, the young millennials, and then Gen Alpha, why are these young Korean men so conservative?
Because they hate feminism. Really simple.
We all do.
Yes. They hate. We hate feminism. I'm one of a younger generation in Korea. I can say that young male voters hate feminism. Second part I want to point out is that we hate communism, and we hate socialism. We hate feminism, socialism, communism. These three are axes of evil. We believe that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Socialism destroys our economy, and feminism destroys our family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And communism destroys our nation. These tendencies make the young male voters more conservative in this country, and unfortunately, almost half of female voters are leaning to the left policies. But I hope that we're going to fix this problem as soon as possible.
So then, in terms of communism, I think it's very clear as to why just Koreans, broadly speaking, in Korea, other than the North Korean sympathizers, they hate communism because it's what tore our nation apart, right? It's what divided us into North and South Korea, and it's what keeps so many people in North Korea in chains, and we hate that. We hate that. It is communism in its essence destroys all your traditions, all the things that you hold dear, and so that you become a nameless economic unit that just serves the interest of the state. So we hate communism. And it's very clear as to why, because of the history in Korea, in the Korean peninsula, why Koreans hate communism. But why do young men hate feminism so much? Is it because they just love their family so much? Or like, what is behind the drive? Because at least in America, the reason why young men hate feminism so much is because it has neutered the next generation. Feminism has told men that they're evil, that they're wicked, that they don't amount to anything, that all the evil in the world is because of men. And we need to topple men, we need to put down men. And men are just fed up with that. They're fed up with lies, and they want to be leaders. They want to be someone who protects their family, their wife, their children. They want to build society. So in America, we see a large rejection of feminism because of how it has destroyed young men.
Yeah.
Why are young men so against feminism in South Korea?
We believe that feminism is a toxic ideology that take out masculinity from young men. And we believe that feminism is like coronavirus. That's
Good analogy.
take young men from their workforce. As Joe Biden and Barack Obama has made their policies favoring feminists, and they did not fond of young men. Like in the United States, like American people has suffered those discriminating policies. We young male voters in Korea have gone through with some kind of same kind of problem. So, for example, the former President Moon Jae-in, he acted feminism policy discriminating young people. Like he ordered Korean companies to employ women. He forcefully drove his policy, and seeing that radical feminism policy, young people realized that the left politicians and the feminists had gathered as one team to drive these radical policy to take out young people from a workforce. So that is a major problem we perceive in the collaboration of feminism and the leftists, the politicians. And if you look at TV shows, you can barely find masculine men in Korean TV show.
Yeah, it's hard, huh?
That's sick. That's sick.
Yeah.
We as a young generation in Korea hate that kind of culture. We want to restore our own culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And feminism really is a scourge on a nation. It destroys the nation, and it really robs women of like their strengths, right? The women are nurturing. Women, literally, the one thing women can do that men will never be able to do is to give birth. Unfortunately, in America right now, there's a lot of people who say that men can give birth, which is kind of crazy. And like, oh yeah, men can get pregnant. It's like absurdity. And so for me, I really hope that doesn't get to a place in Korea where that becomes mainstream, because it's mainstream in America, where university professors, government administrators and politicians, celebrities are all affirming this craziness that, oh yeah, men can get pregnant, men can give birth, men can menstruate, and it's just like this insanity. But that really...
But no one can say how.
Yeah. But that's the thing, and I kind of want to go into that topic a little bit about transgenderism. So in New Jersey, there is a 찜질방. There's a Korean spa called King Spa. I don't know if you heard about this. 3 years ago, there was a man who identified as a woman who said, hey, I want to use the women's area. And for anyone who knows 찜질방, it's, the women's area and the men's area, they're all nude areas. But then this man who identified as a woman with no surgery done, nothing, still clearly a man, said, I'm a woman, let me into the women's section. And then so the King Spa owners, which of course they're Korean, they said, no, Well, we're not going to allow that. That's uncomfortable for our women patrons. And then so they were under a lawsuit for 2.5 years. And then recently, a few months ago, the New Jersey courts ruled that King Spa is legally bound. They are forced to allow men who identify as women into the women's nude area.
Crazy.
Like, it's insanity. It's insanity where just because he identifies as a woman by law, or else they'll get fined, they'll get punished by the government. They have to allow that to happen. What do you think Koreans think about that?
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that actually happened.
Yeah, isn't it insane?
Yes. I don't think that kind of thing can happen in Korea right now, but really conscious messages we can see in Korean society and legal system, and the Korean judges has become more liberal and liberal right now. So if you look at some legal cases in Korea in regards to gender issues, more judges has ruled that against people who raise up their voice against the LGBT and the transgenderism.
Yeah.
That is really a big concern in Korea right now. So Korea is at a crossroad right now. So we have to stop this craziness.
I really hope so, but the things, for example, the anti-discrimination law that they're trying to pass, that really concerns me because in the same way that the Civil Rights Act in America destroyed our freedom of association and allowed for a template so that, for example, they can use civil rights legislation, that's our anti-discrimination law, to say, yeah, if you don't, for example, bake a cake for a gay couple, then we will arrest you or we will fine you. We will sue you. And I see that happening in Korea, and I'm very concerned about the anti-discrimination law because if that passes, then the interpretation can be so broad, and it will be the floodgates to introduce mass degeneracy in terms of the LGBTQ, the gays, and the trans into Korea, which, most Koreans, broadly speaking, I feel like they reject it. Like, there's not a single Korean that I've met in Korea. I think Korean Americans are a little more woke, which we'll work on it. We're working on it. But Koreans in Korea, they largely reject that. I think once you tell them, hey, like if you go to the 찜질방 and as a girl and there's a guy there, how would you feel? Like they would all say, I think 99% of Koreans would say, that's disgusting. That's awful. Why would I want that in my 찜질방? Why would I want that in my community? Why would I want that in my country? But it was like that in America 10, 15 years ago too.
Yeah.
It was like that. That was the norm. Most people rejected transgenderism. But then suddenly, because of Obergefell in 2015, the Supreme Court ruling, and because of all of these new laws and new Supreme Court rulings, there's court rulings bit by bit, especially with the universities and mainstream media and celebrities and Hollywood, all of these things just like in 5-10 years, like insanity has broken loose. And so what I really hope for is Korea to not allow that. Like you said, I think Korea really is in a crossroads right now, and they can fully reject wokeness, and they can reject the scourge of liberalism and protect, what is good and true, or they can be, oh well, I don't care. It's too scary. It's too scary. I don't want to engage in politics. And so on that note, I kind of want to talk about then the future of Korea, and then we'll end with this. Like, what are the next steps for Korea? Like, how do we save Korea? Like, one of the most important problems or the most pressing problems in Korea is a low birth rate. Korea has the lowest birth rate in the entire world. And a lot of that is due to feminism. I talked about materialism when I spoke at Build Up Korea this past year about how I believe materialism is the primary motivating factor as to why feminism is so big in Korea and why people aren't having children. They're so obsessed with status and wealth and jobs and things like that. How do we tackle feminism in Korea?
To tackle feminism in Korea, that's really a good question. First of all, we have to restore church's worship.
Yeah, that's important.
And the principles of Bible should be restored to save young people and give them hope about good family. And second part is that we have to have debate and talk, especially in universities. So when young people have debate and open talk in regards to really controversial issues, young people can change their mind and thoughts. That is what Charlie Kirk showed us. and that's why Charlie Kirk approved as well as. So we need debate, talk, and restoration of worship and principles of Bible. Bible can teach young women and men to have ideal image of what men and women should be. So I want to argue those four things can save young people and tackle feminism in Korea. The reason why feminism shot to fame is in Korea is because almost young women, Korean people, could not see a good family and could not have ideal family. That father and mother do their own job and fulfill their mission from God. That is why young female in Korea have really big disappointment in family. So that makes young women in Korea not to have family. So we have to tackle those sadness.
Do you think that we can raise the birth rate anytime soon? Because at least what it seems like, the South Korean government is throwing so much money at the birth rate problem, saying like, oh, we'll pay you to get married, we'll pay you, we'll give you free diapers, free baby formula, we'll pay you for every child you have. And in America, it works in the sense of you have baby mamas in the Black community who use that and like enrich themselves. You see that a lot with just a lot of these welfare addicted people in America, but in Korea it's like they get money, they get monetary funds and help from the government to have children, but they're still not having children. Is there any way, or what do you think is the best way to tackle the birth rate problem? Because definitely we have to tackle feminism for sure, because feminism is the ideology that keeps women from having children, but are there any other practical things that we can do to raise the birth rate?
To raise up birth rates, we have to eliminate TV shows that depict living alone in a positive way. That you can easily see TV shows in Korea describing living alone or living without a family, really in positive way. So when we see those kind of programs, TV shows, people easily can think that, oh, I can live without anyone. I can live by myself. I can live by cat and dog. I'm not saying cats and dogs are bad. You can have cats and dog.
Right.
But having a children and having a husband and wife is way more important than having cat and dog. I myself love dogs and cats. But you just said the practical way. That is why I mentioned this practical approach, first of all. Second part is that we have to consider the economics. In Korea, housing cost has gradually gone up and up right now. So young people cannot have their house in Seoul and other cities close to Seoul. That is a really big problem. But ironically, left government always tries to fix these housing problem with their own ability. But the more they touch the housing market, the more housing market in Korea has gone more crazy.
Right.
Because as in the United States, the regulations always make the problem bigger.
So pricing,
So the economic policies in regards to housing cost is the second part. I want to say that.
How can we incentivize Koreans to love the trades? So in America, there's a big trend going on where a lot of young men are rejecting college, and I think we should go to college. I think college is a good thing, but a lot of them are taking pride in, hey, I make a lot of money doing construction, a lot of money doing plumbing. I'm an electrician. I'm a farmer, and I make a lot of money doing this, and I'm proud of my work. And then, so there's a lie in America that says that, oh, immigrants are working the jobs that Americans aren't willing to work, because Americans are actually largely willing to work those jobs. I think it's different in Korea because actually Koreans, from what I've seen, aren't willing to be farmers. They don't want to be the electricians and the plumbers and the taxi drivers, and they don't want to be the blue collar jobs. They want to work at a chaebol. They want to work at a company that has a lot of benefits, job security, all these things. Is there? What do you think? Like, how do we incentivize young people to love those things again, because those are all still very important jobs, and those are very still dignified jobs that, yes, it maybe not doesn't have the status of working at Samsung or LG, but it's still very important for not only the Korean economy, but just for every Korean community that exists, to have plumbers, to have farmers, to have people who sustain the society. And so how do we get Koreans to love those trade jobs again, the blue collar jobs again?
Yeah. I think there are two major problems to make young people not to have those important jobs in Korea. The first thing is that Korean people tend to haunted by how other people see them, what kind of job they have, and in general context of perceive of about job, being a farmer or being a worker in a construction site is not perceived positive way in a television show or YouTube and something, and that is a major problem, I think. And the second part is that compared to incomes that American workers earn in construction site as a farmers, compared to the income of level in America, in Korea, if you are a worker in construction site, you cannot much money compared to that American workers earn in a year. So if we handle these two problems, I think situation will be much more better.
Yeah, I think, like, for example, we can think about, we can have degrees. Like, you go to Seoul National University and then you get a degree in agriculture, and then that makes you a farmer. And then I think with technology, AI and things like that, that can actually help where it's not, if you're a farmer, you're not going to always be in the sun, the scorching sun, like working the field, but you're going to be using technology. You're going to be leveraging even robots and machinery to do a lot of the farming for you. So I do think with human ingenuity and technological advancement, there's actually room for Koreans to get back into the trades and to really love that again.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's really good. And I think about Korea and the public transportation. The Wi-Fi is so fast everywhere. Things are clean. The food is so amazing everywhere. And there's just so many great things about Korea. And I really, really hope and wish that Korea continues to remain Korea. Because at the end of the day, the temptation, I think, will be for mass immigration because of the birth rate problem and because the economy will go down because we're going to lack workers. But for Koreans, for young Koreans, stand up and say, no, Korea is for Koreans, and we will protect our country and our national sovereignty. We love our country. We love our families. We love this nation's history, and we will defend it till the death. And I really think we have to reclaim that. Like, Koreans need to reclaim that spirit, the same spirit that drove the freedom fighters to fight against Japanese colonialism and put their lives on the line. The very spirit that had Lee Sun-shin take down like 300 Japanese ships with a handful, right? The same spirit that, the Three Kingdoms and the Goryeo dynasty, the Joseon dynasty, always like defended their country, like with resilience and with love for their country. I really hope that Koreans can continue to reclaim that spirit and have that spirit revitalize the future of this country.
That's really encouraging. Thank you.
Yeah. So just to end, last thing, I guess like a fun thing is, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Wow. There are so many. The first movie that popped up in my mind is that Godfather. I don't know why.
Godfather.
Godfather.
Okay. Yeah.
Godfather series are my favorite ones. But Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan.
Oh, you like Christopher Nolan movies? Okay.
It's one of the
Yeah.
masterpieces in the world. And I generally love films made by Christopher Nolan. And I love Brad Pitt's movies and all the those kinds of movies always give me really huge inspiration. But I basically love films that teach me a lot in about life and love and family and
That's awesome. What's your favorite Korean food?
Korean food.
As a Korean.
Of course, kimchi jjigae.
Oh, kimchi jjigae.
Should I say kimchi soup? As for American
Oh
audiences?
yeah, kimchi stew. Yeah.
Kimchi stew. Yeah, kimchi soup.
Wow.
stew.
I mean, nothing is better than a home cooked kimchi jjigae from
Yes.
your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Especially when they add like the ham and the spam and the ramyeon, the noodles.
That is a Johnson stew, or that is called budae-jjigae in
yeah,
Korea.
yeah. Which, if anyone doesn't know, it's like it developed during the Korean War because what Koreans did, they just threw everything they had, the ramen noodles and the spam and things like that. That's awesome. So we'll end with this. Is there anything you want to tell people in America and people of the world? What is your message to the world?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for giving me that question. To American audiences, I want to say that American people should know why President Yoon declared martial law last year. That is not insurrection. That is not the violent action toward Korean people. That was a cautious message to anti-forces in Korea and pro-North forces and people who praise and follow CCP's rules in Korea. So when American people got to know about reality of what is going on in Korea, U.S. and Korea alliance will be more developing its essential promises. I want to add that President Yoon's martial law waked many people, and especially younger people in Korea. That before the martial law, many people did not know reality and of Korean politics and how dangerous people took over this country. Yoon's administration did not act like a dictatorship. The Constitution of Korea, revised in 1987, it allowed Congress or Korean Assembly to act like dictatorship because the Korean Constitution allow congressmen to run endlessly. You can see congressmen in Korea have acted for 20 years and 40 years.
Right, it's kind of like the Elizabeth Warrens or like the Nancy Pelosi's, right? That just been in office for so long.
Yeah, that is the exact example from the United States or Chuck Schumer and
Chuck
those people.
Schumer. Yeah.
President Yoon declared martial law, and after that, martial law troops got into National Election Commission in Korea. So yesterday, President Trump allowed FBI to raid National Election Commission in Georgia, Fulton County. So same kind of situation have happened in U.S. and Korea, but unlike in United States, under the current constitution's rule, nobody can issue search warrant for National Election Commission in Korea, because National Election Korea, the NEC, is protected by judges. That is the same system that Venezuela's Maduro has.
Right.
So there is judges or judiciary on top of this structure, and the judiciary protects NEC. So nobody can issue search warrant for NEC. But if you look at the history of voter fraud in Korea, you can easily find the irregularities, paper ballots.
Yeah.
That nobody can make easily, and irregular patterns in statistics. I know that the same thing is happening in United States. That is why President Trump has started an investigation for the Constitution of the United States. So the main reason President Yoon declared martial law was protecting sovereignty of Korean people by investigating the NEC. But crazy leftist and radical left in Korea and Lee Jae-myung has made this legal martial law into illegal insurrection. I know President Trump once was indicted and accused of incited insurrection.
Right.
In regards to January 6th riot. I don't believe it's a riot.
Yeah.
I think CCP or leftist in Korea and US has developed the same strategy to make legal president into illegal insurrectionist.
Yeah.
That is what President Trump has faced, and now President Yoon has faced same turbulence in Korea. And the special counsel team has sought death penalty to President Yoon. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yes, that he crossed the line. And other than President Yoon's problem, as you mentioned just before, Pastor Son is right now held in detention center.
Yeah.
If you look at the history of legal cases in Korea, you cannot find a similar case with Pastor Son's case. Preaching with some level of political view, they accused him of preaching with political view, and they held him in the detention center.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Now that is exact example of religious persecution in
Right,
Korea.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If American friends and citizens pay more attention to this problem happening in Korea, that is one of great allies of United States. We will be really grateful for that.
Absolutely. Yes, you heard it here, folks. Korea is a much greater ally to the United States than all these other countries that say that they're greatest ally to the United States. We love South Korea. We pray for the sovereignty of South Korea. We pray also for the revival of South Korea, that Christ would be king over all peoples, especially over this nation. We long to see Korea become great again. Thank you so much, Paul. GroundC.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the great things, share this video. What did you guys think? Let us know in the comments below, because what's facing Korea is what faced America 10 years ago. And so in a lot of ways, Korea and America share the same fate. And so we continue to advocate for goodness and truth to prevail in Korea.